They are stalking us, recording my kids playing in the yard, recording me doing yard work. They follow me in traffic, on the highway, on streets. They followed me when I gave birth to my baby.
I have two things I want to show you today, both on the topic of workplace bullying. The main one that I will focus on for a majority of the video is this. It is of a man who got injured at work.
Was using a dock door. You press the button and it automatically does what it's supposed to do. I got electrocuted.
And the company didn't want to have to pay any medical coverage. So to do that, they started stalking him and his family to prove that he wasn't injured. You know how like insurance people will take photos of you to see if you're trying to fake, insurance claims. But right as I sat down to film this, someone sent me this. This is just obvious workplace bullying. Let me explain. It's all in Russian, but what they do at this company is if you're late, they make you wear the hat of shame. I really don't know how this has so many claps. Now you're probably wondering whose idea it was. Well, the lady who posted it, here's her response. Dear LinkedInians, don't you just say LinkedIn family? Take a closer look at the photo. Read the post again. Where is there about bullying? Where about inadequacy? We are a young and cheerful team of people who decided themselves to experiment with the prevention of tardiness, and for this purpose came up with a punishment in the form of wearing a wig, which themselves chose and bought. She sits and smiles. We've been balding from that wig all day. The lateness has dropped. She goes on to say, humiliation is only if those people to whom this punishment is applied think so. I'm sorry, but that's not how humiliation works. You can humiliate someone even if they don't think they're being humiliated. But the good thing about this is that she's absolutely getting destroyed in the comments by other people. Is it because of such thoughts that you worked in the last places for 5, 7, and 3 months? Straight up calling her out. Here's one, not hygienic and looks like a mockery. I would definitely not want to work in such company. She responded and said, the wig is perfectly washable, so hygienic. This is not an evil mockery, but the desire of our employees through humor to train punctuality. It's humiliating, and that's why you're doing it. I wouldn't post pictures as an HR professional showing just how you like to punish your employees. That's the word that she uses. And for this purpose, came up with a punishment in the form of wearing a wig. Or you can do what adults do. Talk to them, fire them, give them a warning, etc. There's no need to wear this disgusting hat that's been on someone's sweaty head all day. She works at this company called Long Dong. If you look up here at this tab, you might think I'm looking at something very questionable, but actually if you click on it, it's not Long Dong, it's Dong Long. Oh well. Does this company know what's going on? You know how in the reviews section of websites, they'll have like a little picture of the person and then like a little quote? Well, here on this website, to give the reviews, they just straight up like scanned in PDFs from their phone. To probably delete this Katerina, one of those, if I were you. Like, why does LinkedIn allow this, number one? Like, this is obviously workplace bullying. You don't get to be like, but it's not, and then suddenly it's not. We came up with it ourselves, sat down and discussed with the whole team of the office, which will be unpleasant, not humiliating. It's unpleasant, guys. It's not humiliating, okay? It's just a little bit uncomfortable. I don't understand why you took time out of people's workday to discuss how you could punish them for being late. Why would that ever cross your mind? It's HR people like this that make the HR look absolutely terrible. People have families, people have kids, people have things in life that just happen. If you're late, you're late. You're an adult. It is what it is. Anyways, we're getting derailed from the main video here. This is just an example of workplace bullying in the form of it's okay because they have a smile on their face.
So I got the job at Frito-Lay in January of 2011. Prior to Frito-Lay, I was in the United States Navy.
Leaving the service, he just needed to matter. He needed to belong and have a purpose.
Don't look to someone else's big, large corporation that's interested in making profit for your life's purpose and a sense of belonging. You can get that outside of work.
We both thought he found that in Frito-Lay, and so we kind of centered our life around it.
This is an American thing for you guys in other countries. People here live to work. And when you say that you don't live to work, you work to live, people say you're lazy because you value your life. But a lot of people just center their entire life, their entire identity, their whole self-worth based on their job.
I worked hard. I bust my butt every day, in and out. Shit, my wife was gonna divorce me because she didn't even think I was at work for real.
No, I did not believe my husband just spent 20 hours at work. He's not a doctor. It's chips. It's chips and dip.
Was using a dock door. You press the button and it automatically does what it's supposed to do. I got electrocuted. I was taken to the ER, but The emergency room they took me to was 45 minutes away. We passed 4 hospitals on the way to the hospital they wanted to take me to. And the reason it is because they sign a contract with a certain hospital and a certain network.
If you're about to die and they're purposely, like specifically driving past hospitals because they have a deal with another hospital, your life doesn't matter. I think that's pretty clear. They're trying to save money by going to their partnered hospital. You see what I mean when they call you company family, but then they flip the switch and do stuff like this?
I didn't get any time off after the incident.
Do you want your paycheck?
Like that's the mindset that we have here. And this is a very visceral form of you guys seeing that.
I had to call off the next day as a sick day. I told you I was in pain. I told you it hurts when I walk. And it was like, okay, are you gonna be here tomorrow? I asked for some type of relief, period, because I was still obligated to work, like picking cases and unloading trucks or rotating product on a forklift. I asked for a chair that I could sit in that would make me more comfortable while I'm doing my office work. They denied it.
Yeah, that's one of the things we have here in the United States. There are a lot of jobs where you could sit down and it'd be a lot more comfortable and enjoyable for the worker, but that looks lazy. So like at the grocery stores in Finland, people would sit on chairs while they're checking you out, scanning your groceries, doing all that stuff. Here in the US, if you ask for a chair to sit down at, they're gonna say that looks lazy. That looks bad. It never made sense to me. It's like people who cut hair in the United States, like at Great Clips or something, they don't sit down. They have to stand on their feet all day and cut hair. This is a thing in the US.
Got an MRI by my primary doctor, and he showed that I had 2 herniated discs in my back. And he was like, you shouldn't be doing anything. They could only fix it with surgery.
And my husband still had to work this whole entire time.
I wasn't getting enough fluid to my brain. If I didn't have the surgery, the doctor said any small fall or accident or something like that, and I would have been paralyzed from the neck down or dead.
From the moment that he couldn't work anymore and needed short-term disability, Frito-Lay abandoned us.
If you want money from a company and it's not your regular paycheck, good luck. They'll try and fight any workers' compensation, any short-term disability. They'll try and fight you on a lot of things at these large corporations. They don't want to give any more money out than they have to. They're interested in profit. They're going to pay you the bare minimum that it takes to get someone to do the job, and that's it. If you want anything else, even if it's in the benefits package, they're going to fight you on it because they can. They put little things like that in the contract. You can't even sue some companies because they put an arbitration agreement in the contract, which means you have to agree to settle before you go to court. Stuff like this happens all the time. And you don't hear about it a lot, usually because there's gag orders involved from the companies that they can't talk about it, or there's NDAs, or there's things put into contracts.
They require you to go to the doctor so many times, and the doctor has to say that you're in this condition over and over and over. But guess what? You don't have any insurance anymore through PepsiCo/Frito-Lay because they cut you off. I had to pay for that out of pocket too. Didn't have the money to do that. But guess what? I borrowed money or used credit cards or whatever I could. I even took money out my kids' piggy bank.
That's rough.
We had to take from our children to live.
This is an all too common story in the US. I mean, maybe you guys hear about it, maybe you guys see it, but this is what it actually looks like. When I say let's look at what matters, like how are people going to pay their bills or rent or whatever if you let them go, you know, this is what that person's life looks like behind the scenes. Got a wife, got kids, wants to work, did good work, just wants to heal and get better and go back to work. But they won't do that. They'll fight you tooth and nail to not give you any extra penny. He's got his neck brace on, can't function, can't play with the kids. Former company is stalking him at his house to prove that he's not actually injured. And if they can prove that he's not injured, like if he's outside playing with his kids, too rough, they can take that to a judge and show him and be like, look, see, he's faking it. It's not real. He's been using fake doctors all along, giving him fake doctor's notes, and see, you can see he's not injured, so we don't have to pay him. This is what a life looks like that has been affected by a trash corporate company. I don't know how to make it more visceral for you guys, but this is what it looked like for me. This is what it looked like for my dad, except, you know, the process of getting kicked out of your own house and losing everything. This guy seems to still have a house and family. At least it looks like it. I don't know, but I don't know. I just have an insane amount of sympathy and empathy for people that have to deal with this, especially because they bought in when they were told that they were family, when they were told that they were cared about and they would be taken care of as long as you do good work, and then they totally just flip that switch. Like they never even knew who you were.
And the doctor knew what was going on, so he was like, look, just pay half of what you owe every visit, and we'll just take care of the rest later. I never wanted to have a lawsuit, just not me, but I did ask for help, and I wasn't getting it.
I don't know where they live, but here in the U.S., if you're stalking me on my property, I have a 45 with your name on it. Or maybe a 762 if you're lucky, because this is utterly unacceptable.
Frito-Lay, Pepsi, Sedgwick, whoever has people following my family, they are stalking us.
Just to find something to be like, oh, he's okay.
Recording my kids playing in the yard, recording me doing yard work. They follow me in traffic, on the highway, on streets. They followed me when I gave birth to my baby. They followed me to my daughter's school. I took my daughter out of school and decided to home.
See, they're just trying to find evidence that he's not injured so they don't have to pay. They'd rather pay people to come out and surveil him than just pay this man.
I don't know how many people they've given our address and name and information to just to prove my husband wrong. They've done it for years.
It's interesting that they give him all these certificates of achievement and like thank you and purpose, and he gets all the awards and then he gets injured because of their faulty equipment, and they don't want to help. So disgusting.
Why are you fighting so hard to say that I'm not hurt instead of just look at the paperwork, look at the medical stuff, look at everything I've been through? You would think that I'm a bad employee the way that everything has went. I've never done anything wrong to this company or even with this company.
That hits close to home. Very close to home.
I have numerous awards to show that I'm not a person that you just throw away. I knew the sales side, I knew the operation side. I mean, hell, you could have just let me be a lead and just manage instead of physically working.
Billion-dollar corporations like Pepsi, which owns Frito-Lay, they know this is happening to people, and they do nothing about it. My husband shouldn't have to fight for 5 years over something that took less than 5 minutes to impact our entire life. He pushed a button at work, a button he can't avoid pushing. He has to push it, it's his job.
For a company that talks about diversity and culture and a family-oriented business, family don't just throw you out because you get injured.
Welcome to corporate America, because yes, they will. They will do exactly that. They'll do it because you got injured. They'll do it because you said something on Twitter or LinkedIn or any social media. They'll do it just because they can. This is an at-will country. You can leave and they can fire you anytime they want, even if they promise you they won't, even if they promise you the world and say we'll take care of you no matter what.
Company makes over $200 billion a year, okay? It's chips. But my husband is worth $0 to them because he's no longer able to push those chips.
You are a number. You're a piece of property. I bust my butt for them. Blood, sweat, tears, sacrifices, holidays, birthdays.
Don't give up your life. Don't give up your holidays. Don't give up family stuff for a company. Like if you gotta go leave early to go to your kid's game, go do it. Your kid will remember that, but you won't remember that night you worked.
I miss so much family things because they make you feel like if you don't do what they say, they will let you go.
He dodged bullets in the city of St. Louis growing up. He dodged gangs. He stayed out of all of that. He went to war. He dodged bullets and bombs and came back to me. And now he's been electrocuted at work. We don't know what's going to happen from day to day. My husband stops breathing at night in his sleep. I have to wake him up at night to make sure he keeps breathing.
Right, so that's this video. It's pretty powerful stuff. I hope this dude has a really good lawyer. I don't know what has happened since this, really, but I know he has a GoFundMe that was met by a large amount. And it's still here if you guys are interested. I'll link that too if you want to go support him. I'm not going to shill anything. I'll see you guys in the next one.